All right, guys, let's take a look at the maths function. So they're available over here. We're going to instructions. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. And they're here in the maths functions. So there is a disgusting amount of math functions. So what I've made use of is the add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then we'll make use of calculate. We'll see in a later video the rest of these guys right here. But let's start off with the add, subtract, multiply, divide, and then calculate. Okay, starting off with the addition. So we're grabbing one of these guys, dragging it over, dropping it onto our page there. Okay, with those guys, it has a minimum of 2 inputs. If you want to add an additional input, then you can click on this asterisk right here, insert input, and then it will provide you with the ability to throw another one in there. Okay, for these guys, it will obviously add all 3 or all 4 or all 5, however many you add in there. Okay, let's negate what we just did there. So right now I've got input 1 and input 2. These guys are both integers. So what I would do is I would set this to, for the data type, which is what we just talked about, all the different data types you can see here. So what I would do is I would just click auto, right? Depending on the values that you bring in here for the input for either of these guys, then the auto will decide the output there. Okay, for this one I have the input, and you can see that I've got these values right here. What I did was I created a data block. So what I did was I went over here, and you can see my data block here for the number values. So in order to create that, I went to add a new block. Then I clicked on data block, and I created a new data block. Okay, and I labeled it number values, and it came in as DB1. If we take a look at DB1, then all it has is 10 different values, right? So I said number value 1 through 10, and I made the first 4 as integer values, and then I made the remaining ones, the remaining 6, as real values, right? So you can change the data type right here. Okay, and then for all of these guys, you can see that the starting value for the integers is obviously without a decimal place, then for the real values has a decimal place. And I started these guys off at 1.8 and 3.32.0, and those guys are for a Celsius to Fahrenheit equation. Okay, so the cool thing about that is that you don't have to use memory bits. You can create this data block, right, which again is going to add a new block, right, add a new data block, and then you create these tags here. You decide what type of data type they are, and then you can make use of them in any of your subroutines or in the main OB1. So right here, all I did was I chose the value for number 1, right? So I went into that data block and grabbed number 1. It's an integer. Both of these guys are both integers. So we can see the data block number value number 2 is also an integer. And then in order to change the value to 10 and 10 here, all I did was I right-clicked on this guy. I went to modify. I went to modify the operand. And then you can see that I can change the value of that guy, right? So I can change this to 20. So 20 plus 20 is going to give me 30. So that you can see that updating real time there. Okay. The next one, so that gives you an idea of the addition, right? So where you're putting in your values for your inputs, these can be static values, or they can be from a data block, or they can be memory words that come in here. And obviously, it's just adding these 2 values and giving the output right here. Okay. The only issue you're going to have is in the data types of each of these guys. You have to make sure that whatever you're putting into here matches with the data type that you've selected, either in your PLC tags or in this case in my data block here. Okay, that value of number values data block number value number 3 is then brought into network number 2. So this is a subtraction, right? So if we're looking at our instructions, right, that's our next one here. I decided to do calculate at the end. So the subtraction is obviously going to subtract 2 values. I decided to not use anything from the data block. I just used an integer here. Okay, you can see here that if I hover over the values here, then it should tell you exactly what you can put in here. So in this case, it went with an integer because input number 2 is set as an integer. So that sets all of these guys as integer values. And so I have number value number 3, which is at this case 30, and that guy is subtracting 10. So the input 1 is going to subtract input 2, and obviously the value is 20 as our output there. Okay, and again, number of values, number 4, I believe, is also an integer. Yes. Okay, so everything in there in that unit for the subtract is an integer. Okay, taking that, we then bring it into the multiply. Okay, again, next one in the line here. So this one here, keep in mind that some have the ability to be larger, like have more inputs, and some do not. So if you wanted to add more, then it makes sense that you can add new inputs here, right? You can insert an input here for the add. For the subtract, that doesn't give you the option to do that because essentially you're just subtracting one value from another. It wouldn't make sense to bring in another input there. Okay, once we get to the multiply now, well, you can multiply a number of different values together, right? So again, it provides us with the ability to insert another input if need be, right? And you can insert as many as you wish. I don't think there's a limit on there. Obviously, you wouldn't want to have like 10 different inputs there, but within reason, you can add a number of inputs here, and all of these guys will be multiplied together to give our output. Okay, let's negate what I just did. So in this case, we have number value number 4 from that data block coming in for input number 1. In this case, input number 1 is going to be multiplied by input number 2. And in this case, input number 2 is set at 0.5. Because we have a floating point number there, or a decimal place, then I've decided to go with a real value for the multiplication. I could have used the auto, right? So let's see if that still works. Let's do the auto. Let's download that change, and let's see whether it comes in. Okay, so in that case, it went auto, and then for some reason went to an integer, right? So could be the fact that this value number 4 is an integer coming in, right? So this input number 1 may decide the value for the data type for the entire block. So for this case, I'm going to set this back to a real value. Download the changes, because we saw that here, let's take a look first. You can see here that if I go online, right? So if I go here and go online, let's go back to the auto. I went a little bit too fast there, sorry. It wasn't giving me the right value as an output, right? I have 20, right? In this case, I'm multiplying by 0.5, but because this is set as an integer, then it's going to 0.0. So we're going to change this to a real value. Download that change. And then we should be able to see the floating point output from this block here. Cool. So we got 20. We're dividing by 0.5. And now we got 10.0 as our output. And that 10.0 is going into number value number 5. And it's cool how if you hover over stuff, it tells you that it's a real value, right? We can go back to our data block here and take a look at number value number 5, and we can see that it's a real value as well. But oftentimes when you hover over the tags, you can see the data type there. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of our multiplication, right? So obviously input number 1 is multiplied by input number 2. If we wanted to add some more inputs, we have that ability to. So our output from this network here is 10.0. And we're taking the number value number 5 and pumping it into the next network. So this one's a division. This one I'm going to divide by 2. I don't necessarily have to make this as a real value, right? But because this is a real value coming in here at 10.0, then it's setting up as a real value here for the auto. Again, these guys at the moment are just looking at 10.0, but because I have 2.0 there, if I change this to an integer, then most likely it's not going to work. No, okay, it actually worked. I'm surprised that it worked with that 2.0 there. So we got a real value here, right, at 10.0. That guy is being divided by 2.0, and then that is punching out, and the output is also coming out as a real. That's strange that we set this as an integer and this is still a real value. I guess it's because we set the data block as a real value, and that's why it's still working. But normally, best thing to do is just set this up as an automatic. And then it will take a look at the inputs here and decide what type of data type the entire block should take on. Okay, so in this case, we got 10.0 divided by 2.0, and that gives us 5 as an output there. Cool, so that takes care of the basics here: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Let's go back to the calculate. Okay, so for calculate, again, we've dragged and dropped this guy in. Let me show you what the calculate looks like in its rest state here. So let's grab that guy and drop her in there. Okay, so in that case, the calculate does not have a data type, so you're going to have to choose the data type. That one does not have the automatic, so you're going to have to choose your data type. And then you have your inputs, so we have a minimum of 2 here. If you want to add another one in, then you can. So you can see here that I added in a third input value there. And then your output is over here. So in this case, whatever you put into right here to the out, so this symbol right here means defined to be equal to, right? So in this case, you can put in your values, right? So it gives you an example of the equation that you can put in here. Possible instructions can be all of these guys right here. So in this case, if we take a look at my calculate value, so I'm going to negate what I did there so I can still stay online. Okay, so in this case, I said the out is defined to be equal to input number 1. So our value coming in, and I just chose a random value for numbers value number 7. Okay, that's a real value. I'm multiplying that by input number 2. So I made input number 2 to be a stationary value of 1.8. Right, so all I'm doing here is just changing the value from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So I'm taking the input number 1, whatever value I put in here, times input number 2, which is 1.8, and then I'm adding input number 3. So in that case, in order to change to Fahrenheit, I've got to add my 32. Okay, each of these guys have decimal places. They're all real values. And so when we take this times this and then add the 32, then 20 degrees Celsius ends up being 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, the equation is placed right here. Okay, and once you're good to go, then you can hit OK, go online, and then depending on what instructions you place in here, so you can put some normally open and normally closed instructions here to determine when the calculate value happens. In this case, I've got it set up so that it turns on as soon as my PLC is live and running. And in this case, it's giving me the accurate value of 68 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, the other place that you can edit that value is to come in here, up here to the calculator symbol. And if you click here, it says edit the calculate instruction. So we're clicking on here, and that allows us to be able to change the equation that we have corresponding to this data block here. All right, guys, so that covers the calculate. Okay, just keep in mind your data types for each of these guys, and it's essentially the data types for each of the instructions that we've shown so far. Now with this one, this gets a little bit clumsy if we got a number of different inputs there. So our option to replicate that is to insert an SCL network. So in this case, if we've got this network right here, let's see, can I do that? Let me just go offline for 2 seconds. So let me show you how to actually insert that SCL network. What you do is you right click on your network here, and then you click on Insert SCL Network. Now don't worry, it's not going to put it into, in this case, network 6. It's going to create a network 7 below. So it creates an SCL network below the one that you were just on there. So the beauty of that is that we can put in an equation here, and it's very much, I believe, like C. So in this case, we have to make sure that we have a semicolon at the end of our equation. Okay, I had an issue in that I could not see my equation, and that's because this was in the way there. So if you want to move this over, this little window, then you can move it out of the way, and then you can actually see the equation that you're working on. Okay, so in this case, I wanted to replicate the calculate value above here. So what I did was I simply took my number values here, and I floated them. Okay, once they were floating, then I made this smaller. And then what I can do is I just dragged and dropped them onto the page there. So in this case, let's put in that STL network, and then we can drag and drop stuff. So I said number values, number value number 8. So I literally just grabbed this guy, dragged and dropped it down to here. And it looks like I grabbed 2 of them. Let's grab 1 of them at a time. Okay, and I use this here, so a colon and equals, to say that it's defined to be equal to. And then you want to use brackets here, so brackets, and in this case, the next value is number value number 7, right? So taking this guy, so we're saying that this output is equal to this value, number value number 7. So we're grabbing that and dragging it down. For some reason, I keep grabbing 3 of them. This guy, beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that by 1.8, so that eliminates the ability to put in another input there, and then we're going to add 32. And so I'm putting 32.0 because they're real values. Close the brackets, and then this is essentially, you have to put a semicolon at the end, otherwise it's not going to compile properly. Cool, eh? So this equation right here in this SCL network simplifies this calculated value that we have up here. Right on. Okay, let's get rid of this guy right here, because that's just a duplication there. So it's cool. I love the ability to float these windows and then just drag and drop things into equations or onto my ladder here. Okay, let's drop this back in. Beauty. Let's go back to our main OB. Let's download any changes that we made. Beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at the output on this SCL network. So here we have our number value. Can we move this over a touch? Okay, so right here for number values number 7, we have a value of 20. And then when we multiply that by 1.8 and add 32, then we get a value of 68 as an output there. If I want to change that value, then I can then click on here. So I'm right clicking here, modifying the operand, and it will modify the operand in both network 5 and network 6. So in that case, maybe we want to see what, let's just go for 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, that didn't, there we go, a little bit of a lag. My computer's a little bit slow. So that gives us 41 degrees Fahrenheit as an output. And you can see that it changes both in network 5 with the calculate instruction, and it also changes instantaneously on our SCL network or network 6, right? 5 as our number values number 7, and 41 as our number values number 8. All right, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It kind of shows us that those data types are really important when it comes to our math functions. And this is a really cool ability in order to drop in an SCL network into our ladder programming and be able to replicate something similar to this calculate instruction here. All right, guys, thanks very much. I'll see you guys on the next video.